Let's get on here and let's talk. I want to talk about the Breakfast Club interview with Dame Dash. So I'm not a big fan of it. I stopped watching it for multiple reasons. And one of the reasons was because of Charlemagne. So they talk about Dame Dash being broke, right? And how 50 owned the rights to pay in full. Okay. So they talk about how this man was broke and all of that. And he was up there trying to explain the business concept of why he ended up had to file bankruptcy and all of that. And he was getting cut off so much by Charlemagne and DJ Envy. And he said something to Charlemagne. He said, I think you're gay. You don't represent true masculinity. And I think you're gay. And you know what? I have to agree with him. I have to agree only because Charlemagne does not set the example of what masculinity look like. Not even for a woman who's looking for a decent husband, he wouldn't be that example. Because what he does is a lot of feminine traits. Gossiping, spreading rumors, starting shit, right? And I'm not saying all women do it, but that's that's what typical females who ain't got nothing to do with their lives, who bored as shit, that just want to look for some tea, look for gossip. That's what they damn do. That's something that Tasha K would do. You know what I'm saying? It's different when you discuss various issues that's taking place in the community. But when you just looking to start some shit with somebody, that's a problem. And so what Dame Dash was trying to say is that as men, there should be some form of decorum. There should be some form of decorum to where other men can sit down and talk to each other and be able to express each other without being interrupted so much. And what he also saying that men show respect to other men. They don't just sit around and gossip. They either just try to help another man out if he can, or they'll listen to the man's problem and try to offer him better solution. And then he also mentioned that there's been times Charlemagne had been punked and he ran out of the situation, but he said that there was time that he got jumped and beat up and he didn't run. Now, some of y'all gonna go out there and talk about, oh, that's toxic masculinity, this, that, and the other. Well, what the hell is toxic masculinity? Now, if you say hyper masculinity, that's different. But what is toxic about masculinity? What's toxic about femininity? And and get to his point, a lot of men on social media, they do more gossiping than women. They talk more shit than women. They get on social media, they somewhere telling somebody's business more than a woman. But these are the same men they be talking about sticking to the code. But they do not stick to the code themselves. These men get on social media, do a lot of snitching. They'll do a lot of gossiping. They'll do a lot of shit starting. More than women. And then they got this concept called the soft boy era. What the hell is a soft boy era? What the hell is a soft boy era? What's wrong with being a warrior? What happened to being a gentleman? Why you gotta be a soft boy? Why do you have to be soft? It's too many men out here that are soft as hell. There needs to be more warriors. There need to be more gentlemen. But then these be the very same men to say that they want women to respect them and look at them as leaders. Well, how can a woman look at you as a leader if you run around here talking about you want to be a soft boy? How you expect for a woman to look at you as a leader if you carry on too many feminine qualities? How do you expect for her to look at you as a leader if you don't know what it means to be a warrior and be a gentleman? You know, back when I was coming up as a kid, and I'm not saying everybody was perfect because they wasn't, but you had men who focused more on work, taking care of their families. They didn't have the time to sit around and gossip about everything. Now they go to the barbershop when they want to talk. You know, that was their little sacred place, the barbershop, or going to the car shop. You know what I'm saying? But outside that, most of these men took care of business. They were too busy focusing on families. They were too busy focused on raising their sons to be men. They was too busy trying to focus on teaching their children the values of being human. Or they were just too busy hustling. They didn't have the time to sit around and gossip and be up in women's conversation all day. They didn't have the time to do all that. Now, certain ones did that shit. And if you did do that shit, then you got kind of looked at funny. You either was looked at as being gay or you was looked at as being weak as hell. So nowadays, a lot of these men lack decorum. You know, they talk about women acting too masculine. Women acting too masculine. Women don't know how to act like women anymore. But these men don't know how to act like men anymore. And they act too feminine. You know, they carry on a lot of feminine traits. But you got the nerve to walk around here and say you want a woman to respect you as a man. You want a woman to look at you as a leader. So, yes, Damon Dash is correct. He is right. He is right by what he said to Charlemagne. Because that's what he's giving. That's the type of energy that he's giving. He's right. I have to agree. You know, I can't tell you how to be a man, first and foremost, because I'm not a man myself. But I can tell you what I look for in a man, the qualities I'm looking for. And one of those qualities is he can't be going around here gossiping like a woman. He can't go around here gossip like a woman. And one of the qualities that I would look for in a man would be the fact that he knows what it means to be a warrior and know what it means to be a gentleman. Those are the main qualities. A lot of these niggas today, they don't want to be gentlemen. They don't want to be warriors. They want to be bitches, bad bitches. They want to be sassy. You see him on the podcast, right? You see him on social media. This is the type of men that we deal with in modern times. They get on here and gossip about women more than women gossip about women. They get they get on social media, gossip about men more than anything. I mean, we all are human and none of us are perfect. But come on, man. There is certain boundaries that needs to be taking place. And then you get mad with our grandfathers and fathers who were trying to teach these boys the value of manhood, right? The value of manhood. You get mad at these men who came before us. They were trying to educate these young men out here by saying that they were very toxic. They were very aggressive. They were very abusive. You throw them on the bus. When all they was trying to do was to prepare these young men for the world they was going to encounter. They was trying to get them prepared, especially if they was trying to start their own family. If you wanted to start your own family, you wanted to have a wife and kids and whatnot, all these men were trying to do was prepare you for the responsibility. And then here these men go talking about, oh, they were being toxic. They was bringing too much trauma. Now, some of them were abusive. There were some men who were very abusive. I agree. But then there were those who weren't trying to be abusive. And that was not their intent or purpose. They were just trying to prepare their sons, grandsons, for what they were going to deal with in the world, especially as black men. They were trying to give them pointers of life. They was trying to show them the foundation the best way they knew how. And instead of showing appreciation for it, they drag them. But you know what? I can't put so much blame on these men. I have to blame the women as well, because some of these women play their part in this. Some of these women play their role in this bullshit. Because you got these women stepping up to these men telling them, oh, don't be like that, be gentle, be this, be that. Trying to tell the men how to raise a man when you have no clue your damn self. It's one thing when you show emotional intelligence and emotional support, but it's another thing when you coddling, when you too busy babying, when you do too much babying and coddling, then that becomes a problem, because that young boy do not grow up and understand what it means to survive on his own, because he's so used to being coddled. At some point in time, you gotta let your child go free and get a chance to experience life. You gotta prepare them, but then you gotta let them go. They can't just sit under you all damn day, all the time. You can't do it. Shout out to the chat. What's going on? Shout out to the chat. Peace to the chat. But Damon Dash came up from a different time period where he was taught one thing. And see, there's going to be people out there that's going to say, oh, he's toxic masculinity. They're going to give him all kind of labels. He from the streets. Okay. He grew up in the hood. He grew up around a bunch of men that taught him value of manhood. So he's going to have a certain way of thinking. And niggas like Charlemagne would not be able to sit around with certain group of men. He would not be able to sit around at the table with certain group of men. They would want his ass up out of there because he would not be trusted. He would not be trusted amongst certain men because of how he run his mouth. Because of how he carry on. And what Damon Dash forgot to mention about Charlemagne, his disrespect towards women. Not only his disrespect, but his predatory behavior. This man got on a radio station with DJ Flex and said that he used Spanish Fly. He bragged about using Spanish Fly for the longest. Then he turned around with this bogus ass apology. Talking about he's sorry for what he said and all of that. Nobody hold this man accountable. This man did not even lose his goddamn job. This man bragged about date raping women. And he still was able to keep a job. He was still able to keep a job afterwards. He done disrespected Monique. He done disrespected Brandy. He kept touching on Brandy when she was on the show doing an interview with him. He was touching all over her and she kept saying, "Stop, Charlemagne." And he tried to disrespect Monica, but Monica wasn't having that shit. Monica was not having it. Monica let it be known, look, I'm from the South. I'm from College Park, bro. I'm from Georgia, man. I don't play that shit. He done disrespected Angela Yee, which is one of the reasons why she left, because of him. So the problem is, Charlemagne didn't have no man to chin check his motherfucking ass and his behavior. That's the problem. He didn't have somebody that was hard on his goddamn ass. So he was so used to getting away with so much shit. You know? So shout out to the brothers out there who really have decorum. To the brothers that are not afraid to be gentlemen. To the brothers who are not afraid to be warriors. To the brothers who are still trying to provide foundation, although you get a lot of criticism from everybody else. Although you get labeled as being toxic, as being way too patriarchal when you just trying to bring discipline. Shout out to those brothers. I mean, I wish we had them old school daddies. In my opinion, I wish we need them old school daddies. Them old school daddies that don't tolerate no shit. But guess what? Y'all ran them off. Y'all said that they was out of hand. When they wasn't, they were just trying to bring balance. They were loving and caring and compassionate. But at the same time, they was trying to bring discipline, especially to the boys. Because we know when them testosterone kick in, yeah. Oh, I do remember the Charlemagne and the Fredro situation. I do. I do remember that. Yeah. These dudes out here, they done got too comfortable acting like bitches. Again, these dudes out here done got too damn comfortable with acting like bitches. And they supposed to be identified as so-called heterosexuals. Hell, you got certain homosexual men that don't even act the way that these niggas be acting. You got some homosexual men that do not act the way these niggas be acting. That's my thought. And that's all I wanted to say. Shout out to everybody. Thank y'all for coming through. Shout out to Jason. Shout out to Dominu. Was it Dominu? Dominu? I don't know how to say your name, Dominu. If I'm saying it wrong, please forgive me. And shout out to Asiatic Soldier. Shout out to all of y'all that's coming in here. And I hope you all have a wonderful day, wonderful evening, whatever your time zone may be. Until next time, this your girl Tiffany. And I'm logging off. And I just wanted to speak on that because, yeah, somebody had to say it. Peace.